Now we're going to get deep. So, welcome to day 10. And this one, I think I'm just going to call it possibly spirituality. May end on that. When you click on the video, you're about to get a way different outcome than what you thought. I'm gonna get a little ranty here. I'm gonna try to keep it comprehensible. I'm going to try to keep it cordial. I'm going to try to keep it contained because there is a beast in me that sometimes wants to be released when I talk about this stuff. When it comes to spirituality, whatever you may believe in, whatever thing you may practice, listen, this is tying judgment and everything into it. Stop faking the funk, especially when it comes to maybe I turn this into actual, being open-minded. Do not pretend to be open-minded. Oh, man. This one's going to be tough for me, man, because there's a lot I want to say. But I want to tie into a bunch of things. I want to say first, when it comes to spiritual practices, do not get distracted again by other people's journeys, and do not get distracted by the people who look good saying what they're saying, by the ones who seem like they're very educated on what they're saying, and do not get fooled by any buy to improve your life things unless the person has some real, reputable, is that reputation? I don't ever use that word, but reputable evidence that they do a banger of a job, and definitely pay for services and everything that you truly believe in. I'm not here to take money out of anyone's pocket. I like the hustle of all these people. But what I'm saying, some are more scummy than others, but what I can say right now is a lot of these gurus, and I will say this, and a lot of people that think this is a spiritual community are against you. I'm going to tell you this right now. I have been in so many things with people who claim to be open-minded and things, and it has driven me over the edge. So I just want to say, if this person is truly about their work and what they do, they will point you to sources, they will give you experiences, and they won't just give you a bunch of jargon of copied information. See me, I always want to relate my stories because I have things that have actually happened in my life that can be explained by psychology, or can be broken down by different areas of study that they have us break up and learn. Psychology is more of a choice, and also when you get into college. But what I mean is you can see how I have learned things through my experiences, and that's why I also want to say, maybe even call this video "Experience is the Best Teacher." But it really is. And when somebody relates to you how they have now come to understand knowledge, I feel like that's a sign for me that they are someone who is stepping into not mastery levels, but understanding it for themselves and whipping it into their own words. So unless it's way too simple. But what you need to understand about your spirituality and your own journey is, honestly, to save yourself a headache, I say, if you're not someone online really wanting to share your experiences and stuff, keep it private to yourself. You will do yourself such a service. You will do yourself such a service. Just keep it to yourself. Because I've been in situations where it's just oh my God, I really just be I wish I just kept my mouth shut. and those are where I could say, even when I was younger, truth too, to keep some of your beliefs to yourself. But I moved a little bit crafty back when I was younger, so I don't know. I can't really say that. But I'm so telling you that a lot of these people online, and I'm sorry to say that, and hey, and more power to them, because a lot of them are good at what they do, and it's not ever about truly deceiving. Maybe some people's intentions are to deceive, but when it comes to astrology or any study you're in, just practice it, because this was really about the journey of the individual. I feel like this. I feel like you do really need to pick up on someone's frequency to truly tap in and really know and understand what they're about, and really get an understanding for them. And then you resonate. You may resonate what they say. Other things what they not. See, I'm messing this one up. I feel like when you tap into someone, you truly tap in, you need a certain frequency to be on a certain frequency to hear what they're saying sometimes, but it's about resonating with what they're dropping, maybe you don't resonate with other things they may drop, but then after that happens, you move on or whatever. You don't have to stay around, kind of what I'm saying. But my point I'm making is, like, a lot of these dudes on here are really regurgitating the same thing without really giving you experiences from their life. So I always say look towards experiences and look towards them referencing books or sourcing it, because I definitely picked that up from Brother Panic because I needed a good foundation to stand on, but I believe in that too. So that's why it sounds similar, because I was saying this before I even knew who Panic was, that, you got to stand on that. And I'm probably going to reference him a lot through this series because he was just a big one for me when it came to all this mind power. But before him, it was B.O.B. So, they're two people I will always reference. But when it comes to my own understanding and having my own knowledge, seriously, what I've come from personal experiences, man, somebody wanted me to tell this story of how I got into basically like an argument with a vegan, and they really wanted to hear the story on that. And I ended up putting it on that channel, but I ended up deleting the channel. So this is a new one. But yes, I'm telling you, I've been in these dumbass arguments. That's why I go back to the whole argument video to just avoid this shit, bro. People just like arguing for the sake of arguing, and that is such a waste of time. It's a distraction. But when it's like a fun little debate in your house and something, that's a little bit different. Like, there's context to a lot of things. And I just feel like when you're on your spiritual journey or you're on the journey of the self, you need to be very careful on that journey with the information that you intake and the information that is spouted out as someone trying to flex their intelligence and what they can remember rather than actually giving you experiences. So for me, I do feel like there's a lot of people asses out there I could tear up with the things I've experienced and then try to pretend or come to me with a bunch of pretend things that they're repeating from a book. I can't repeat anything I've read from these books for y'all. I can pull some of the knowledge, but it doesn't stick. All that sticks are my experiences with the things I've learned from the books. So, biggest one I told on my second channel was in how the spiritual world projects into the physical existence, and this whole feeding the dead theory. That happened with my grandma when I was out in Minnesota, where I needed a sign for her. So, just collecting, gathering all the memories and emotions and feelings within my mind to her energy signature that is still here. I was like, hey, give me a sign or something or a smell to blah, 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 show me where I'm going. And when I got to this Airbnb that was out there, it was the smell of patchouli. Now, I don't own her patchouli at the point in time. I don't own patchouli or anything, and I got a big whiff of it through the door. And I even asked the dude who lived there, does he have like a grandma or anything like the patchouli? Is he familiar with the smell or whatever? Not at all. And I was like, wow, that was almost like her, because confirming to me that I'd be safe here. So all my freaking fears washed away. That was also the day that I did the conversation with Max Igan on video, and that was not the day, but it was the point in time where me and him met up on the same frequency, which was super, super sick. But I tell you all this to just say spirituality and what the topic of this video is supposed to be about kind of still goes back to the old days that we've done. Screw these motherfuckers trying to tell y'all what this is and what reality is for you. That's what I'll name the video. Reality. Reality is that. Reality is what you ultimately make it down here. I'm not going to get into all these crazy sounding things, sounding like I lost my mind and that reality isn't real or whatever. I'm not going to get that. I'm not going to get that far. But what I want to talk about is the simplistic idea of that. Is there are people that exist in this, and I wonder if it's really just to serve as something for you to see on the outside of yourself, or maybe the lower parts of yourself that haven't accepted this yet, that will fight what you believe harder than you fight yourself on what you believe. There are literally people outside of yourself that you can say, well, hey, I just don't think this, and it is like you literally in game killed their virtual dog. YouTube's rules are a little bit weird. I'm trying to play a little bit to the system. So in video games, you shoot their in video game dog. That is how some of these mofos act. You just delivered them the most delicious in a video game ball kick, and you just put them on their knees. And it's it's like, why are they getting so personal? And I've still not figured this out, but what I've come to the conclusion is that the things that they believe in they believe in them so strongly that it has now went from a thing that they just believe and hold to their heart to the fact that they have to defend anyone who doesn't think that way. They have to defend against anyone else who doesn't think that way because their belief is law. And sorry, that's not how reality works. So that's what I've chalked it up to. It's just people who have not gotten over that hump of vegetables do not make you enlightened. So yeah, and this was before I knew Brother Panic, but that's what had me weak about the whole thing, was because I was experimenting at 18 with the science of alchemizing my food before I ate it, basically like prayer over your food before you ate it. And to me, that yielded a better result than just putting leaves in my body and other things like that. And I actually recently, maybe you can find my comment somewhere on someone's post where I delivered this saying again, because I feel like sometimes it's disingenuous. And I'm not saying the person's content was deliberately trying to aim at people, like distort the message, but I just wanted to leave it there as kind of like it is me. It could have been selfish, could have been whatever. I don't know, trying to find the self-awareness of that day of what that could have been. But I just felt like the need to talk about like the fact that people are sometimes misguided by certain people's messages. And that again plays into, if you're a creator online, it's not your fault who takes what you say wrong or right. Everyone's going to experience something different. So I felt bad for that, but I left the comment because I don't want to look like a pussy, like I deleted it now that I've gone back on my words. But the thing is I just wanted to point out that I wasn't disrespecting the creator. It was just that there are a lot of people who think that eating a certain type of food will bring you to a higher frequency, and I don't believe that. If everything's in the mind, then it's what your mind makes that to be true. So I just kind of was saying like, oh man, like I guess that day I just felt that feeling again from years ago when I got into a fight with a vegan, and it was so dumb, and it was just like, bro, this makes y'all look even dumber to me. But again, like I say, I digress. I'm better now. But yeah, so I would just say, like, again, that goes back to my no judgment thing. I can't be judging. Again, like I said, I have my slip-ups. But yeah, truthfully, when it comes to this whole journey, your mind really makes a lot of this real. So if your body, if it's a balance between the mind, body, and spirit, and then the soul is controlling all this, right? Then if your body is required for you to change your lifestyle, like you are like unhealthy and you're probably going to die or something from being overweight, unless you're just totally cool and convinced that you'll be good with that reality, then I don't know. But if reality is showing you something else, that like you're getting diseases and you got problems with your body, then maybe that switch is your level up. That's why I say I could see it from that perspective too. Okay, that's where vegetables or whatever would lead to you getting better. And I never feel bad about that. I didn't say vegetables were not. I'm just saying that some people will now, and this is what I kind of want to make this whole video about, because it's still about reality, is that people will go out and fight and defend this when they see someone else who is claiming to be aware and spiritual or whatever, and they will fight them tooth and nail that they need to become vegan or they need to switch to this belief, because if they don't, their soul is condemned to a life in burning, and just all of this stuff that is not true. And that irks me a lot, because the whole point about this whole unity and people wanting to see a new earth, and we are shifting to a new earth, and we're shifting over here to a new earth and shit, is the literal way that would happen is if everybody is on the same side. I don't think people who are, maybe not, I could be wrong, because maybe if you're hearing the frequency, that is true. So I can only speak for myself. I can't speak on other people. But you know, when like you see a bunch of, maybe let's say like the conscious creators or the spiritual creators on YouTube and other things are saying like, we're shifting into a new 5D earth. The 5D earth is here. Are y'all ready? It's like, you know, I like the ones who say that it's not a physical shift, but it's a mental shift. And it could probably physically shift where you live in reality, but not like we're all about to just ascend, right? So I feel like with those types of videos, those are sometimes damaging because people will find a way, and then true, the people who do this technically aren't ascending anything, but will fight people who they believe are not ascending to the 5D because of thoughts and behaviors that they do. But you know, I've seen a lot of texts out there that argue against like that literal animals were here to be consumed. Like I said, I'm Native American, Black Indian, or whatever we want to say, right? And one thing that I know is really big in certain practices in Native American culture is not wasting like animals and like praying over the animal's body and like thanking them for the food, almost that like you're gonna eat it and you really, it's like a love, like you love them, like you are sustaining me, right? But people will make the argument that like that's not spiritual. So we're just supposed to live in harmony with everything and not eat anything. I just don't believe that. Because then, you know, there's the whole argument with the predators, but then people make the argument about consciousness and that predators are programmed to eat other animals younger than them. We're not. We have the conscious choice to avoid it. But I'm like, yeah, but that's the thing. We're we're an omnivore, so we're in the middle where we can eat both meat and whatever. I don't know. People make really weird arguments, and I'm just like, this is why you got to really stay to your own. Like, deeply, if I can end this video in a great message, it's the fact that reality is simpler than a lot of these people make it, and to get out of here is a lot simpler than you think. It really is. Like, well, you know, I don't want to say get out of here because I don't want to get deep, but to creating the life you want is much simpler than you think. But because you're so distracted and distorted by so many other people's lifestyles and them forcing it upon you, you can't hear your inner self screaming for you to stop and say, fuck this, let's go make our life. And that was reality. See y'all in the next day. Love y'all. Peace.
Hey, there's nothing more for you here. This is the end of the video. Now, you can either subscribe, or you can leave, or you can stay and subscribe. Or, this will be the last time we meet. Or maybe not. Maybe we're meeting again. Maybe you just decided to let the video play all the way through. Maybe I don't want to think about that. I hope you enjoyed. I'm out of here.